The species that were enhanced followed the orders of the humans that had saved them. Along with that, the humans themselves had remembered the old phrase, and they had prayed and hoped for peace, yet prepared for war. The word came out that the, as they called it, purification fleet was on the move. Larry asked his spookily friend, "How long do we have?" "Not long at all." As it turned out, the other species had improved their technology in the interim, and their engines were a lot faster now. From first reports to the fleet's arrival might be about 50 hours. This will put them just outside the sector, and then, of course, they have to fly in. The purification fleets had broken down to every single sector controlled by an altered species other than human. They then sent a message that they are only after the former kinsmen of theirs. They wanted to end them all. They had to surrender all their ships, all their wealth, everything to the purification fleet. Thousands and thousands of ships arrived to take on these worlds, and as they jumped into the sector, they only had about 17 hours to reach the closest colony world. This meant the defenders had to move quickly as possible. Thankfully, this was enough time to get aboard ship, and Larry set off. Each human ship was moving with practiced efficiency, and on board, Larry hooked up to the ship, and it was headed into the void. While traveling, he was thinking about his wife. She didn't want to stay behind, but she had to watch the youngest twins. The older twins were locked down with their own compounds, with their own families, and they had to take care of them. They couldn't join the front lines. Everyone had known what to do. They'd been drilling for it for a while. They knew what to do, they knew when to do it, yet no one was looking forward to it. All things considered, they were well prepared. They just wished these events had not come to pass. Larry arrived in the system 3 hours ahead of the approaching force. He arrived and instantly activated his stealth field, and then contacted the planet with his, father-in-law and mother-in-law on it. He asked them if they were okay, and they said they were just still busy getting everything ready for the hostiles coming in. They knew what to do, but they still asked for information about the family and, of course, the incoming force. Eventually, with all these questions, it slowed everything down. As everybody wanted more information and they stopped what they're doing, Larry had to remind them they don't have time to talk. He did tell them that their children and grandchildren are safe. It's just him. He is up front. He will protect them. The purification fleet, at least a battle group in this sector, had arrived and moved surprisingly fast through the system, thanks to the upgraded engines. Reaching the colony world, they communicated, "We know you're there, humans." The humans tried to stay hidden and didn't speak, didn't get on their comms, and double checked to make sure their stealth systems were in place. That is when they saw the fleet begin to target their area and the human ships. There was calls out to the human ships to uncloak themselves. They knew they were there. They knew they couldn't fire while they had their stealth systems engaged. The fleet began to charge its weapons, and then the shields dropped as humans charged their own. "How did you know?" The fleet admiral roared, literally roared in laughter, as that's what a force does. "You humans think you're so smart. We simply triangulated. Of course, we didn't really have to do that. We simply had to see where our sensors could not see. And that told us exactly where you are." With that, multiple human ships basically said, "Fuck it," and dropped their stealth fields and moved in between the approaching fleet and the planet. This is a warning. This sector is protected by the human species. Leave now, and we will disregard any of your transgressions. "You are not fooling anyone here, humans." We know you and of your species, and how your species cast you out into the void centuries ago. They have no obligation to assist you. Matter of facts, you have no claim to the creatures on this planet. By that logic, neither do you. We have claim to their lives, as they were the reason we have fallen from such prosperous heights as a species. Now we are forced to do this, and this is the only way to bring back balance to the species of this fleet. It worries me that you truly believe that. Do you wish to insult my intelligence as I command over 1,000 ships at my back? I'm not insulting you, Larry continued. I'm just wishing that you could see the deception that is being placed on you. That's all, and nothing more. Deception? Many times in my species past, we acted exactly the same way you are now. We went to war with those we were told brought us down. It always starts with the propaganda. I'm sure you've been dealing with that for well over 10 of our years. Through that intense propaganda is a forced belief that others are the source of your issues. This is very rarely the case. In truth, your leaders want you to blindly follow their orders in order to maintain their idea of control and comfort. Since you seem to know all the answers, what will happen at the end of this conflict? Tell me. Tell me. Simple. If you win, there will be another group used as a patsy. In this scenario, the cycle will not break without your own blood being spilled, and I mean almost all of it. That's what happened with us. If you lose, they still win. The sudden shortage of personnel means more for them, your leaders, your whatever the hell you want to call them. More currency to spread around, and you will still have your supposed enemy to face. Either way, win or lose, you lose. The admiral of the fleet seemed moved by these words, and he was silent, as he was pausing in obvious contemplation, as for once he began to lower his ears. With this, a ship captain chimes in, "Enough of your lies, human! We have sacrificed far too much to be swayed by your pretty words. We all know that humans are wonderful ambush predators. Without your surprise, you are nothing." He is correct. Your words cannot stop us from our mission. Larry, put back by this sudden burst, composed himself very quickly and stated, "Perhaps, but these next words you must hear, and they will give you pause." He pointed with his entire hand towards his side. "That planet is human territory. If you damage it with mass driver, nuclear weapons, chemical or biological weapons, you can be assured that you will be facing the entire might of humanity. That is their territory." The Admiral suddenly looked concerned as he silences the comms, turning them off. Cindy chimed in, "They stopped their advance. Think they're going to withdraw?" Jenny chimed in as well. "I doubt it. Probably just trying to adjust their battle plans. What do you think, Larry?" "Battle stations. Link up and give us time on target." The human ships began to move into position, creating a ring around the planet. They seem to be completely encircling the world from where the approaching force is. Along with this, a handful of forced ships come up from the planet and try to get into their formation. They're told specifically, do not advance, hold the position. Use evasion maneuvers if needed, give yourself enough space, but stay in formation. Formation is going to keep you alive. The opposing force, made up almost exclusively of unaltered force, begins to move. The humans charge their main weapons, raise the hidden turrets they have, as in what is a human ship without a whole bunch of turrets. All drones are ready to launch. All tubes are made ready to fire. Larry asks one last time to stop. There's no need for the bloodshed. There was no response, of course. He didn't expect one. The weapons got hot, and he had no choice. To protect the ones he had saved, he gives the command. Fire! Torpedoes and missiles streak across space, and moments tick by as they slowly make their way from one force to the other. Right before point defenses cannons are able to fire on them, they launch the main guns. Massive tungsten rods hurtle through space at twice the speed of light. Point defenses don't know where to fire for a moment, which allows the torpedoes and missiles to actually get through the first barrier. The main energy weapons are ready and then primed and fired, and with that, all the ordnance begins to strike at nearly the exact same time. Some vessels are able to dodge the incoming ballistic rounds, and all of them fire with everything they have to try and make sure they don't get completely perforated and torn asunder. At that moment, throughout space, there's giant pieces of metal, many explosives, most of them using chemical components to be forced through, drones making screens and trying to make their way across to the other side without getting destroyed themselves, trying desperately to get within range. Everything is being launched, point defense cannons being aimed, getting ready to defend themselves. It is absolute chaos, and the Force had clearly upgraded since the last time they had seen a human ship. For over 20 minutes, space seemed to burn with multiple explosions of torpedoes and missiles blowing up, ships being destroyed, reactors overheating, going critical and blasting away. Everything was pandemonium on both sides. You see, as good as human ships are, they have their limits. Some of the drones are sacrificed simply to block shots. Extreme G-forces due to evasive maneuvers are making things difficult on any of the crews trying to make sure their main ship is not hit. Several ships are, however, taking massive damage, some of them almost direct hits, yet they are still fighting. Those on the approaching side have always got to ask the same question: what does it take to kill this son of a... The forced allies continue to withdraw more and more as more of their ships are taken out. They can't take hits the same way a human ship can. Plus, they have many more crew. Even as the numbers start to slow down, it's still a standard space slug match. Everyone is bombarding each other beyond visual range, and those of the purification fleet are surprised. How could the humans know how to do this so well? How could they do this dance? They're ambush predators. They had not looked into human history, and those humans fighting had not forgotten how to fight. Yet, as strong as they are, the purification fleet was still closing, still getting closer and closer to the point where everything might go bad, very soon. However, it looked as though they were going to at least be able to force a stalemate, if nothing else, and things were looking promising on that venture. However, the alarms began to blare inside Larry's head. It wasn't an alarm that echoed through the ship, but inside was an absolute screech that was going through. He screamed out, "Report! Enemy fleet heading to Sigma 957. "Holy crap," he said. "They're early. Cheeky bastards." With that, all the humans realized that their own home was about to be under attack, and they could not sit there and fight someone else's battle when their own home was about to be hit. They knew this was going to happen eventually, but they figured that the first wave would come in, they'd have to deflect it first, and then they would try for their home planet. But no, now they're going in early. They had to apologize profusely, and then 80% of the line had to withdraw. The rest pulled behind the planet for some sort of shelter. As they all did and got in line so they could jump out of the system, they noticed shuttles from the far side of the planet heading in the same direction they were. The entire flight back, however, the only thing going through Larry's head was the worry of his own family. Were they okay? Oh God, will I get there in time? And then the constant, oh fuck, 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 hurry up, faster, faster, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Arriving in the system, he arrived guns blazing. He remembered the old phrase, if you come to our home, you better bring a lot of really big guns. Unfortunately, they did. They were already inside secondary weapons range, and the humans were definitely outgunned. However, they decided to tear into the opposing force with everything they had, as they had to slow them down, if not completely stop them. On board his ship, Larry comes in firing off everything he has, launching every single drone he has capable of launching. Torpedoes and missiles are fired as soon as they're loaded in the tubes. The main guns are running completely hot as the primary energy projector is just running overtime, streaking through space, slicing through anything it can hit. Unfortunately for him, he's also immediately targeted, and being so close, much of his ordnance is struck down before it actually hits anything. Larry's point defense does the same and is able to protect him for a while. The drones launched move as close as they possibly can before letting off their barrage of missiles, also firing their main guns into the ship. Mainly, their targets are shuttles, transport, boarding craft, and of course, corvettes. These are the most nimble of craft, and they need to be hit by something just as nimble. Small missiles are just enough to cause catastrophic damage. If they don't destroy the ship, it'll just be useless for a long time. The main ballistic cannons fire every 17 seconds, firing a huge tungsten rod with each shot. 17 seconds is all they need to load the next piece of tungsten and to charge the cannons. While this is going on, they immediately target the next ship they're going to be firing on. The main energy weapon is firing so much it is now overheating. The human ships keep jumping into the system, but it's just not enough. Alarms are blaring all over his HUD as he sees that the point defense autocannons are becoming critically low on ammunition. Even those that are energy based are running so hot they've shut down in order to cool. He looks at his weapon inventory and realizes he's completely black on torpedoes, and oh, there goes the last of the missiles. He's got none left. He's barely got 50% of his drones back as they're inside rearming and refitting and trying to repair what they can before they get sent out again. He's down to his last 4 ballistic main gun rounds. He's holding his fire as he wants to make sure he uses them correctly. The main energy weapon is so hot that firing again would cause a complete meltdown. If it does, the bow of his ship is going to explode. Under such conditions, he's forced to retreat to the other side of the planet. He's dogged the entire way as they try to strike his ship, seeing that he's pulling back, and unfortunately, he's not the only one that has to. All human forces need to withdraw because there's so many, just too many. Even though their ships are far superior, it is a fight between quality and quantity. The remnants of the human ships consolidate on the other side of the planet. As they could see each other, they could see the energy weapons were still glowing hot. Not just their main cannons, but point defenses, where some of them had been so hot that they had to be quite literally ejected into space. They were just melting onto the ship. This would also allow for rapid cooling of the area, but still, they count the remaining ships and check to see what weapons are still available. Thankfully, as they do this, shuttles come up from the surface to try and repair and rearm. Along with this, repair drones fly around their ship like bees around a hive during the middle of summer. The good news of this battle is, if you can call it good news at all, the enemy fleet cannot just follow them and circumvent the planet. They would be picked off, breaking the horizon, and they knew it too, meaning the fleet was safe, at least for the time being. They had also slowed the enemy fleet down. By their estimation, they destroyed anywhere from 30 to 40% of their ships, less for the invasion, of course, and that was promising, as any one could make the difference. They also picked up communications. This was coming from other sectors, as all the commanders were beyond pissed that they couldn't use an orbital strike to end this battle quickly. The bad news of all this, they lost. They simply lost. They were overrun by the quantity over their quality, and they knew it. Now, the invasion is inevitable. They can't stop it now. Though there did seem to be a slight parley, if you want to call it that. There was a communication from the different battle groups that composed the Purification Fleet, those that had taken the space near or around the planets. They demanded the surrender of all modified personnel, or they will start slagging the planet. Before anybody could say nuts or kiss the darkest part of my ass, Ivan, a soft spoken man, likes to keep to himself, responded to all these calls. Larry laughed a bit, as his translation software would change the language itself to what he understood. However, when it changed the language, well, it kept the accent, which kind of made him laugh. Yet, at this point, he didn't really have a chance to laugh. He wasn't actually in a jovial mood. All he heard was Ivan's voice. If you were to fire on the planet from orbit, war with all of humanity would come to your doorstep. You must fight within the atmosphere with standard munitions, you know this. Yet to do so on one of our planets is to welcome death. If you're going to do such things so prideful, so arrogant, and so stupid as to try, we have a very old phrase for you. Bring it on, bitch.